Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Urban Update. I'm Byron Barnett. On the program today, we have the executive producer of the show Bodega Makeover Project, which focuses on the small, local mom and pop stores in our neighborhoods. Also on the show, Maverick Landing Community Services, helping community members in East Boston learn skills that they can use in their everyday lives in the 21st centuries. We'll also hear from Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, four of the founding members of the New Edition, who were in town last week. We'll have an exclusive interview with the guys. But up first, the new president of YW Boston joins us as we warmly welcome Beth Chandler to Urban Update. Beth will now be leading a Boston staple that's been around for more than 150 years that serves Bostonians with programs that educate and empower the community. Beth has spent her career working to overcome social injustice, and the naming of Beth as the new president and CEO comes at a time of transition for the organization and at a critical time for Boston as it seeks greater gender equality and leadership diversity. Good morning and welcome to Urban Update. Beth Chandler, thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
Okay. So first off, congratulations on being officially named as president. You've been an interim president.
Yes.
How do you know how does it feel to be part of this long-term commitment?
It's truly an honor to be leading YW Boston now, particularly at this point in time, given what's going on in the city and the country. So I'm thrilled and humbled to be in this position.
Now, so what caused you to be drawn to YW Boston, formerly known as YWCA of Boston, but that was changed about 7 or 8 years ago, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so officially our name is still YWCA Boston, but we also go by YW Boston. And what drew me to the organization were a couple of things. One, as a woman and a woman of color, I have experienced many occasions where people have said I couldn't do something because I was black, because I was a woman, and I wanted to be with an organization that got rid of things like that. The other part of it is I worked for several other wonderful nonprofits who existed in part because of the manifestations of racism and sexism. And I wanted to be at an organization that really looked at what are the root causes of those issues and how can we eliminate them.
And by the way, just what is the mission? How would you describe the mission of YW Boston?
Our mission is to eliminate racism, empower women, and promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. And moving forward for us, that's going to be helping organizations make more inclusive environments so people of color, women, and particularly women of color, can thrive in leadership positions.
Now, what are some of the ways that YW Boston impacts the community that you feel may go unnoticed, but actually do go a long way in the community?
I think a couple of our programs really have a huge impact. One of them is the dialogues on race and ethnicity. We go into organizations and we facilitate conversations around race and ethnicity, and we get people to think about how has race impacted them, and often, particularly for people who may not be people of color, they haven't really thought about race. And then we get people to think about how has race impacted other people and how has the impact impacted them and their lives. And it's really life-changing to hear somebody that you work with and you may have worked with for 5 years, 6 years, and not know the experiences that they've had. And then we get that group of people within an organization to think about a project that they want to work on together to address an equity and inequity within their organization. And then we support them for a year in being able to implement that. And so being able to really make a change that benefits everybody in the organization is extraordinarily powerful.
So that's a dialogue on race and,
yes.
Race and ethnicity.
Yes.
What about Youth Leadership Initiative and Lead Boston?
Yes, our Lead Boston program works with mid to senior level executives, and we really help them become change agents, not only here in Boston, because we expose them to a lot of the social justice issues in Boston. And to be a leader in Boston, you need to understand the history and the issues. And then we also provide them with tools and skills to help be change agents, particularly when it comes to issues of diversity and ethnicity.
How do you see the city right now, and what do you think, why do you say, what makes this such an important time, as you say?
It's an important time because of what's going on and how we are so divided as both a city and as a country. And I think being able to understand how to have conversations with people around difference is extraordinarily important. I think there's also, when you look at research, particularly by McKinsey & Company, the companies that have a diverse leadership team, either by gender or by race, are doing better. So if you're in the top quartile, you're doing better than your peers as an organization. And if you're in the bottom quartile, you're doing worse than your peers. So being able to have a diverse leadership team is extraordinarily important for us as a city to be able to continue to have this economic boom that we're having.
And one last question. I know you're a former professional basketball player. Talk to me about the barriers for women in sports. Are they getting easier to overcome? And I imagine it was different when you were playing.
Yes. I think there are barriers that are getting easier to overcome. I think now we have the WNBA. It's been around for many years. That didn't exist when I played, and so I ended up playing overseas because that was the only opportunity I had. So I think it's wonderful that there are more opportunities for women to be professional athletes here in the States. And hopefully we'll get to a point where there's also pay equity for women who are professional athletes.
Well, one last question. You talked about the times here, the importance of the times. How does the demographic change that are taking place before our eyes in the country, very quickly, just the last point, how does that play into your mission and what you're trying to do?
Well, I think the demographics show that within maybe 20, 30 years, there are going to be more people of color as a larger percentage of the population. And if people of color are not integrated into the workforce, if they're not allowed to thrive, then we're not going to be able to be successful as a city or as a nation.
Okay. Beth Chandler, new head of the YW Boston, formerly YWCA, but YW Boston. Thanks for coming in. Congratulations and good luck with your mission.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Well, next up, Maverick Landing Community Services, helping East Boston community members become the best they can be, right here on Urban Update. We'll be right back.